Now, this week alone has seen news of some form of negative report in the field of education, from language issues all the way to violence in schools. So we asked the questions, just in what state is our education in the country, and also in terms of our learners, what state of mind, psychologically, what influences, young learners to behave the way they're currently doing against their fellow teachers as well as learners in school. Now, we have invited Mr. Zweli Moyo of Fundi to chat about the role it plays in helping change the face of education in Africa. Zweli, thank you so much for your time and good morning.
Good morning.
Now, we've seen so many, news updates regarding challenges that teachers are faced in schools, environments where, young learners are currently, beating up their teachers, fighting against their learners. I think there's a particular learner who beat up a bus driver while he was driving them to school. Before we even get to the education system, at what psychological state are currently learners in when they're at school?
Well, it's obviously very disturbing to be seeing news articles like that and hearing these things that are happening in our schools. And it's a real challenge. And I think it's a broader societal issue that we probably need to be addressing much broader than and outside the sort of school environment, and not just specifically in the schools themselves. I think that there's a broader societal debate that we need to have and engage in. Yeah.
And how does Fundi, what does Fundi do exactly?
So Fundi, you probably know Fundi from our previous incarnation as EduLoans, which was basically a business that supported people to realize their dreams. And we're still that. We're called Fundi because we believe that education is much broader than just finance. It's partnering with people. So we partner with businesses, give bursary management support systems, and we give administration of bursaries for students, and we give cashless solutions for students in schools. Again, we're talking about high crime and so on. We give solutions to schools where they can actually remove cash from the environment.
I think what's interesting about the upcoming Fundi Education Forum is that you have different heads of states coming into the forum, and also speaking about the different challenges that not only South Africa faces, but their countries face within the continent. Take me through some of the speakers and why particularly it was important to have this conversation, in comparing South Africa with other African countries.
To me, I think what we need to get across to everybody is that the education story in Africa is a positive story. It is a very good news story. So you're right. On the 29th of October, we've got 4 former heads of state coming. We've got President Jakaya Kikwete of Tanzania coming through. We've got former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, coming through, and former president of Benin, Nisifure Soglo, also coming through. And then we've got our very own President Kgalema Motlanthe, who will also be part of the debate. I think what's important, and Thuli Madonsela is also going to be part of that. So what we see is education, I guess, it's a broader sort of debate, a societal debate. And what we want is to have people who are at the apex of policy making actually sitting on the couch and almost a storytelling forum where we can talk about the issues that we face as a continent and say, wow, what can we do? But it's a good news story. I think that...
Why is that? You keep saying it's a good news story. What is the good news? Because it certainly doesn't feel like it in South Africa. Maybe somewhere else, but please tell us that.
So I'll tell you, when we talk about policy making in Rwanda, for example, you've got private schools are struggling with enrollment because the public school system is so good, but that's a story that we want to tell. And as Fundi, we want to partner with broader society to create that platform for storytelling and make sure that people actually understand what's going on. And then another interesting innovation story around education. Do you know that in Uganda, there's a man who developed a jacket that's used for the diagnosis of pneumonia, for example. That's an amazing, good news African story around education. And I think that's a story that often is not told. So as Fundi, how we see the world is we want to partner with society to allow people to realize their dreams.
So you have this amazing platform coming with these amazing heads, current or former heads of state. What is the outcome that you're hoping for? What's going to happen beyond the very impressive list of candidates that you have sitting on the couch to actually implementing things that will be useful for the African child?
So as Africans, we know the power of storytelling. And I think creating a platform for storytelling on a broader basis. So it's not just people who are in government. We've got business leaders coming as well, because, businesses give bursaries to students, and those students, ultimately set up their own businesses. So what we're trying to do is create a platform for storytelling, really safe kind of environment. Everybody's welcome, and I'd encourage a lot of people to get onto the FEF 2018.co.za website, register, and would like to see many people come to the convention center.
Right. I understand the tickets are also selling. At what price range are we looking at?
So again, they range from 975 upwards, depending on what sort of package you want. Again, what we're doing is targeting your corporate people as well as institutions and moms and dads. I mean, I think, as I say, education is a good news story. If you look at the continent in 1950 to where we have got to today, I think we're moving in the right direction. And I think it's a contested space. I think you started the debate, perhaps, on the note that was rather sad, but I think it's a contested debate, broader societal issues, but broadly we're moving in the right direction. And I think that's the story we want to tell.
Thank you so much, Zweli. Thank you so much for coming through, and we wish, of course, Fundi all the best in making sure that conversation goes on, but also it continues even beyond the forum around South Africa and the continent. That is Zweli Moyo from Fundi joining us this morning. Make sure that you go to FEF.co.za to find out more information about how you can be a part of the forum, but also the long-term conversation.